Alright, welcome back everyone. I'm Sephiroth, and today we're going to continue plowing ahead to turn our Duchy of Flanders into the richest duchy in the known world. We've got a couple of barriers in our way, one of which is a pretty tough decision, because right now the country of West Francia, which is the largest I have ever seen it, even King Carl actually managed to expand into Lombardy. He almost got to Rome itself. He even took some chunks out of the Umayyad Empire as well. And now, as with most crazy large kingdoms and empires, civil war is upon us. So most of our money is tied up in making more money, but we do have some troops, and I've got to figure out which side of this war we want to fall on. So the invitation we have is to the magnificent Duke Scrooge. Blessings upon you and your house. Requests that you honor your obligation and answer this call to arms against King Carl of West Francia. Declining, however, would only cost 0 prestige, so basically we can choose either direction. But Carl the Black has apparently been deemed a tyrant, and therefore unfit for kingship. Now, this is our king's... Now he likes me. Jeez, this man has been accusing me of all sorts of... yeah, there's like 3 times, I think, in the last hour that he's accused me of things that I did not do in order to manipulate other people's opinions of me. But he's recently been excommunicated, which means everybody hates him, because everyone in this country is Catholic. But he is a powerful warrior, to say the least. He's got 27 martial might. And I am not sure that this rebellion has much of a chance against him. So the issue here, let me see what's on the table. Usually it will show you what they're fighting for. Maybe that's just if you're the one starting the fight. Alright, well, I guess we already sided with one rebellion and it fell into ruin. So, this is a tough decision, because whichever one wins, you could potentially be on the losing side and then lose your titles, depending on how things fall into place afterwards. So let's play the penitent noble for now, decline, and just keep our distance. Because if we decline and the revolt wins, we don't actually lose anything, right? We just sit on the sidelines and the ruler changes and we pay tribute to someone else. But if we actually step up and try to fight the king and then lose, that could be more of a problem. So we're going to go ahead and take that route and focus on our finances. We've got, yes, I had to give one of my sons a demesne to keep things balanced effectively. And before I hit play again, let's just get back caught up to where we're at here. We've got the castle town is as upgraded as it can get until I get castle infrastructure to level 2, so I'm a pretty far ways away from that, to say the least. Yeah, so infrastructure level 2 is going to take another 150, so yeah, that's going to be a while. That leaves us with upgrading the structures around our town. We are working on a new port, and then this one is ready for upgrade, but we only have 230 gold, so we're going to hold off on that. Remember, at least here early on in the game, armies are still fairly small. So if we can keep about 200 in the tank at any given time, we'll be okay. And then I'm going to actually slow down the clock a little bit. We're going to try it on 4, because I was just getting so much stuff in the last episode. It was hard to keep up with everything. Like, I would try and dictate on what was going on, and then more stuff would come up before I was even done. But let's have a look here. So King Vermond of Asturias has declined King Carl the Black's offer to join. No text for key war. Someone had a glitch. We have a nameless war, but nobody's helping the king out in this context. So we're going to push that clock to hopefully about 400 gold, and then we'll buy the next upgrade. We're going to personally train our dog, because we picked a martial focus. I'm trying to keep this guy alive as long as I can, but you remember I was able to switch over to a tanistry, so at least now, as long as I have a member of my dynasty alive, I have an heir. So tanistry, particularly if you're like an intermediate level player and you want to make sure your dynasty lasts so that you can focus on being better at other aspects of the game, Tanistry is a great place to start. If you're really good with diplomacy and manipulating your vassals, elective monarchy can be a really good option too. And we might switch into that later when we expand and get our own kingdom. But for right now, we are going to happily train our dog. We're going to keep focusing on our own duchy, and that will be that. So, our king now wants to make us a chancellor, so sure, if I'm not actually going out and fighting, because I have no fighting skills, I'll stay sucked up to the king until we figure out what's going on here. And, oh, there we go. Alright, Spy Master's coming in for the win. 50 more economy points. That's what we're saving up for. Our first goal is to get that castle infrastructure up to 2, so we can get the next wave of upgrades. You notice their income right now, we finally broke 10 gold a month, which is not bad. To put that in context, the king so far has an income of 11 a month, but his expenses are through the roof because he's running a war. So even on a good day, he's making a little more gold than us, but not much. So if we can avoid the spotlight for a little longer, we're going to be all set. Tanis Morgan of Flanders is now of legal age, became a naive appeaser, because that's exactly what every parent, every king, you know, dreams of his child being a naive appeaser. Alright, so my challenge here is I've got the 2 sons, and I gave a count title to my eldest son, who turned out to be kind of crappy in the stats department. Yeah, that's not impressive. And then my other son, which is the one that is unlanded at the moment, but he's also the heir, so I feel like that balances out pretty good. He has a little better in the stats. He's got a lot of positive stats. You've got your kindness, diligent, brave, temperate. I definitely would rather him run the city than the other guy. But apparently now it is upset because my adult son does not hold any land. And I'd rather not part with another Demesne because, I mean, I don't have that much income coming in. But I think at the least we can get him married, so that would be good. Let's see what's available. All right, so we have a Berber who's of the Shia religion and wants to marry a ruler. She's got great stewardship, but not much of anything else. So let's see what else we can find. We definitely want some decent stewardship, because if we can get that Demesne back up to a 6 and maintain that 6 throughout my dynasty, then you can make sure that then you know that you've got your Flanders, your entire duchy will be able to thrive, and you won't have to cut up pieces of it and give it to your heir. So that leaves us with, we'll keep going down. I'm trying to find one with the decent diplomacy as well. We have a Pictish that is charismatic negotiator. It's not bad. It's fairly alright. I mean, greedy's not that bad. So, okay, so we have one option here in Madru. And then after that, well, we also have an Irish option here. She's got some combat skills. Honest, gregarious, proud, but she does have more diplomacy. So yeah, let's go with her. I don't really worry about losing a bit of prestige in the interim. If you're marrying someone with the right stats, you can make up that prestige fairly quickly. So not really worried about that. Crank up the map and see what happens. A troubadour and his wife, the Trabaritz, wow, I've got to work on whatever language that is, French maybe, has arrived from Occitania. Their performances range from vulgar satires to political sermonettes and everything in between. Let's see, so I can boost, because I'm cynical, I can lose intrigue. I see no benefit there. Remember these 2 from last year, I can get some positive opinion. Or I can become charitable. We're going to go with charitable. I've got enough gold that I know it seems counterintuitive to have a charitable Scrooge, but I think of it more like he has the money necessary to play the system and play the game, and does that. And that dog gives me more health, so I got a little more longevity. There's a bonus that comes into play after a while in this game. Let me see if I can track it down. Usually it's in their opinion of you. Pleased by succession, long reign. There we go. That third one on the option there. The longer you're in power after a certain point, the more opinion grows because you've maintained your lordship for longer. Now we've got another report of the Great White Stag, so let's take off and see what we can do. Given that my martial skill is 10, which is far better than it was when I first started. I think when I first started it was like 3 or 5, so I don't know how I'm getting better at war, but alright. to the stag we go. And let's see where we're at next. I've got 374 gold so far. We're almost ready for another upgrade. I come across a lone rider. His lack of success at hunting seems to match mine, but he invites me to talk and share my experiences. So, yeah, sure, why not? We'll invite Fingal to my court. I'd like to figure out if he's good at anything. A lot of times you can get really good fighting types with those kind of quests when you go off hunting. Let's see what this guy's good for. Yeah, 14 combat. Okay. Let's see, my marshal's at 17, so won't need him there. But maybe I could use him as a commander, because I have a feeling that 14 will trump 9. And there we go. Can't argue with that. Now, okay, so this is my court chaplain saying, the more I study the Lollard religion. Oh, here we go. Okay, so religious strife is now hitting France. He wants to become Lollard. And I don't want to become Lollard. So that means I have to arrest my court chaplain, which would be very sad because he's got 18 learning and I've got 16. That's not bad. Sure, why not? Alright, we'll arrest him and put someone else in. There we go. Alright, I won't give up my hunt for the elusive white stag. I'm gonna get my... Actually, we should check before... It's too late now because I put my... I'm just checking to make sure my entire country is still Catholic. If some of them had gone over to the Lollard religion, I would assign my court chaplain to start proselyting there. But you have to be careful because wherever he's proselyting, you have the option of triggering revolts. So you want to make sure that your martial character is ready and waiting in case that becomes an issue. And speaking of issues, another chancellor has bit the dust. Okay, so I'm going to put my son in charge of sucking up to the king, and that should help. Now, during my stay at the court of a noble in Lorraine, I've done my utmost to present my liege most favorable. Right, because I chose to stay by my liege during the Civil War, and as you can see, the war ended in his favor. So that actually worked out pretty well for me. And meanwhile, my current opinion, well, actually, I'm fairly liked by the king right now at 53. So let's see, is there something else that I could do with my chancellor? Improving diplomatic relations. The only diplomat I really care about is, the king. You want your boss to like you. Sowing dissent is an option if there's someone I wanted to destroy. So for example, I could use that to help my king by, say, going to the head of the Umayyad Empire and dropping my diplomat there and trying to poison his relationship with his vassals, adding in that vicious rumors debuff that gave me so much problems a few years back. Or I can target a local noble that I want to subvert and start working on. Now, ideally when you first start stretching out as a noble, and you want to start gathering more land while still maintaining the protection of your king, you want to hit your neighbors. Because for example, obviously it's easier to hit smaller dukes. Trying to find a good example here. There you go. So here's a small one, right? I could start pressuring him, and I have enough counties that I could probably beat him militarily, but it would be very difficult to defend both of these if a duke decided to hit either of them, right? So ideally you want to spread out in locations that are close to you. So I'm just checking real quick to see what my options are. I've got a neighbor right here. This is Arnold the Young. And he's got just about as many counties as I do. He might be the next good target. But he's got 532 troops under his belt and no pacts aside from his own court. The significance of that is a pact tells you how many allies they can bring in if they're under siege, right? If they're under attack. So I know that, for example, I can bring up 1,800 troops and he can only bring up 500. So I have a military superiority, and I have enough money to bring in to hire some mercs if I need to. And it doesn't look like he has enough friends to actually bring in reinforcements. So that might actually be a really good option to expand in that direction. I remember the last time I played this, I expanded to the south first, but I'm not ready to poke that bear. Oh my gosh, that is huge. So we'll expand this direction first and see what we can do. So one thing you want to check is you want to make sure that your de jure, you stay within de jure as much as you can. That is the the duchies as they're meant to be, as the family lines dictate, as they're passed down. So for example, you can tell that this guy, he has 2 duchies, right? He's got the Duchy of West Frisia and the Duchy of Brabant. So I believe this one is West Frisia, the slightly orange one, and then Brabant is this brown one. So if I decide, for example, to fabricate claims right on his capital, that's going to look to create claims for the county, and if I'm really lucky, it might even pop and create a claim for the duchy title. And if I can win the duchy title, then I could take all of this, half of his ownership, in one battle. That's what I'm really hoping for, because it takes a lot to pay for and run a war. And if you're only doing it for one county, that can take a long time. Once the war's over, you engage in a truce, and it has to last 10 years. Or you die and your predecessor comes along and can start up another fight. But you have to be careful about that, because if you break that 10-year truce and try to fight again, everyone around you will lose opinion of you, and that you do not want that. We're not strong enough to take on everybody at all. So we're going to go ahead and try that and see if I can grab a useful title or not. Meanwhile, let's see, we're not ready to upgrade my castle, but I think we have a couple more financial upgrades that we can do from our city. So let's go ahead and get back up to about 400 gold, and then we'll do another city or port upgrade and keep working on upgrading my total monthly balance. We've taken a hit, actually, in the financial department, because we used to be making 10 gold, and now we're not making that much. But let's, oh geez, that's patrol. That is the wrong button. I want a guardian for my son. So that's either, yeah, I can, if you can, do it yourself, because you will usually be able to control your son's growth better than the NPC will, to be sure. Okay, alright, wow, all seems surprisingly quiet, although given that the king controls a massive amount, man, I have never seen West Francia grow that big. If we can manipulate these guys into becoming an election-based system, we could become king fairly easily. But at the moment, I am content to hide here and continue upgrading, because this is all about the long game, right? All these nobles, all these dukes, they're using all their money and resources to conspire against each other in the now. I'm using my resources to build as much money as possible, as much of an income stream, so that later when I come out to play, I'll be able to outbuy, out-army, out-equip everybody. Unfortunately, my faithful dog has taken his last breath, so we can either give him a proper funeral, which for some reason removes the dog. Oh, either way I lose the dog, so we will bury him quietly in the castle garden. That sounds a little more intimate, I guess. So we've got, oh, factions are popping up again. So the problem when you have such a large kingdom is dukes start wanting more than they've been given, and that's when they start creating all these fun little factions. So they give you a percentile. If anything is over 100%, there's a high chance of that faction making their move, and it either becomes civil war or the king backs down and gives them what they want. But right now, it looks like most of them are under 20%, so factions are at work, but they're fairly limited right now. Although our steward is doing a great job and got us 50 more gold, so we can actually start up another upgrade. Okay, this is where things are starting to get fun. We finally have enough of an income. Notice, I made enough money to start another upgrade before the current upgrade was even done, right? So I'm building up my income stream to the point where it starts becoming just a game of whack-a-mole, right? You just keep putting money back into your cities and your ports, and you boost your income. And, you know, while we're at it, let's celebrate and go off on another hunt for the white stag. And let's get another... We're going to upgrade to a guild hall next. And I know it can be a little boring at first. We can always crank the clock up to 5 bars if we want to speed things along. But right now, things are going good. So let's see, gathered followers, hunting dogs. I guess this is in honor of my fallen hunting dog friend, that we are now setting out to take on the Great White Stag. This time it will not escape me. Oh, alright, so King Karl the Black has declared war for Aragon, the Holy War. Ooh, okay. Oh, he's going after the Umayyads. Okay, this should be good. So to remind you that Umayyads are down here. How big are they right now? They're actually fairly small. In most playthroughs, they conquer all these little countries before they come after you. So they're actually still pretty small and fragmented. That's a good opportunity for King Carl to move in. Alright, scouring the countryside for your prey, you come across a lone rider. Strike up a conversation, and you have the option of inviting him to your court. So let's see, he's also 14 in combat, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And we're going to boot out one of my other fighters and switch. Ooh, okay, that's another... I have an 18 and I should have a 14 because I invited that guy to my court, but I don't see him yet. Let's double check. Maybe he just hadn't arrived yet? Or is that the new guy? Is that a new guy with 18? Ooh, that could be nice. Okay, so we've got an 18 marshal. And we just put him in charge of... If your marshal is recruiting troops on your capital automatically gets more troops than the rest of your counties because that's like your capital, right? That's your center of holding. So if you put your taxes and your troop creation on that capital, it'll maximize their utility. Alright, meanwhile, let's make sure that we've got all of our main fighters adequately employed. There's a 15 right there, so that should be good. Let's see where we at now. Steward. Can we better steward? There we go. Alright, so that eunuch we got a while back, who is apparently a gardener, and that the icon for that is perfect, right? I mean, having been hammer-fisted in the crotch before, I can tell you that that's about what it feels like. But we're going to go ahead and put this guy in charge of my money, and he can collect taxes in my capital, so that should be fine. And the Holy War for Umayyad has kicked off. The Holy Wars... Remember we were talking earlier about when you attack, you usually get just the one county that's causing the conflict. Maybe you can get a duchy. With a Holy War, you can take like entire duchies if you can hold them. The trap is with a Holy War that the Umayyads, they use this. Their religion is a mixture of Sunni. Their religion is Sunni. So any other nearby Sunni religions can jump in and join in defending the Holy War. So you got to watch out for that, because if you see this little country and say, well, I'm going to go in a Holy War and I'm going to bring in all my friends, what you may not realize is that everyone around them is also the same religion, and then suddenly you're fighting everybody. And usually you'll have less allies than they will at that point. So hopefully we're big enough, or hopefully King Carl is big enough that he can keep taking on Umayyad, because I really, the bigger King Carl expands, the better off I'll be, because I'm just tucked down in this little corner building up my financial arsenal. Alright, and I'm still doing a good job presenting my liege in court, so he should still like me, despite the fact I'm not actually going to war for him. And alright, so we're still waiting on the final upgrades to boost my personal castle's revenues. Can't really do much about that. We can upgrade these other castles, but first we got to upgrade their castle walls. The walls in towns they rely on each other for upgrades. And yeah, we're going to hold off now on upgrading these other castles until we get our money up. But I want to get us up to about 400 or 500 gold before we put any other money into upgrades, because you want to leave enough that if the Duke comes after you or things go bad, you can pop that button and whip out an army of an extra 1,500 guys. Alright, so here's the Hedge Knights. I think last time I worked with them, I was able to get some additional bonuses, but not this time. Looks like I've already got the Gregarious and the Just traits that you can get from that. Alright, how are we looking here? So our monthly income has dropped a little bit, but 9 a month is not bad. And our king is currently sitting on, well, he's currently broke. Ooh, his monthly income right now is only 4. That's before, man, he's going into debt for this war. That's ominous. That's ominous. You don't, oh geez. Yeah, and they're, so here's the Holy War situation, because you notice all these different clans are coming in and out and joining troops. And yeah, that's going to be tight. He's winning this one battle here, but I don't know if he's going to win the Holy War. Meanwhile, we're getting progressively closer to our 400 gold benchmark. Castle walls has been built. So I'm hoping that if we can I had overlooked the castle overlooking each county. So I'm thinking if we can upgrade those to Castletown, that will also boost our income further and faster. Because you notice we're already up to 9.6. So if we keep that up, I think we can make that work. I'm still presenting my liege honorably. Let's go ahead and get the castle walls upgraded first in each one of these. Whoa, hello. Okay. It's like 3 things pop up simultaneously. This game like keeps you on edge the whole time. Things are always happening. Okay, so first off, my Spy Master is awesome. 50 more economic points. That's what I want. That puts me closer to upgrading my economy. And then I gave a death sentence. Wow, that's intense. Okay, one of my tasks as Chancellor is to smooth relations between lords. Mostly I try to make other rulers or my liege's vassals like him better. But sometimes I find someone who doesn't like King Carl, and then I work my magic on... Okay, so I have the option of improving the relations between the king and a vassal, improving the relations between him and his queen, or improving the relation between him and his courtiers. So let me just look at his situation real quick. Because his wife does not like him at all. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and boost that for him. I hadn't really expected to be rewarded for what I had done, but it was nice of King Carl to show that he appreciated my hard work. I gave 5 gold. It's like, I don't know, tipping Trump $5, right? Alright, well, we just broke 400, so let's go ahead and get another castle walls upgrade going. King is happy. Whoa, wait, okay. This is going to be... You remember... See, when a king offers you guardianship for one of your kids, that's a pretty significant show of trust, right? The problem is, his culture is Frankish, so if his wife is allowed to raise my child will become Frankish, and all of his kids will be Frankish. And I'm trying to stay within my Scottish roots. Oh, but if I say no, then he's going to be ticked, and I only have 28 opinion of him. So that's going to be an issue. Let me see. How many kids do I got here? I think I have 2 sons so far. Okay, so this is my 3rd son. I mean, I don't know how long he'll live or how many kids he'll have. Matad McDuck. I love it. It's like the game actually figured out what I was going for and then it went with acronyms. Okay, so I either suck up to the king by allowing his wife to tutor my son, but it makes him Frankish, which will create conflict within the nobility of my own realm. I'm gonna have to decline and hope that he still likes me. Alright, we're ending episode 3 with a bit of a gamble. Feel free to stay tuned and figure out whether we can stay on good terms with our king or whether he's going to try and burn our house down. Before we hop into the next episode, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. That's the best way I can tell that you guys are enjoying my content so far. Also, feel free to comment down below when you've done a run and you've started off as kind of the vassal to another king or even a duke. What are some of the ways that you guys kind of maintain a working relationship with them while still kind of preparing to take over? Because we all know in most Crusader Kings runs, you're going to be trying to eventually become the duke or the king to whom you are subservient. So what's the best ways that you guys have seen to kind of balance that relationship before you're ready to make your move? I look forward to hearing some of your guys' strategies, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.